Hello everyone. Today's lesson is going to be on cooking. You're not going to be cooking. I may add that as a project later, but right now you're just going to learn what to do if you want to adjust a recipe for a different serving. So, like if you make muffins or something, um, the recipe might be based on 24 muffins, but you only want to make 8 muffins. So how do you fix that? So we're going to be using a ratio today, and you need to be sure that the number that you want to make or the number that you want to serve goes on top, and then the number that the recipe is for or that it serves is on the bottom. So that's how you'll set your ratio up there. So I'm going to be doing the model problem on page 240 for the cinnamon toast. The recipe serves 4. The guy wants just enough cinnamon toast for one person. So what does he need to do? So first off, the ingredients listed is a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon, 8 bread slices, and 2 tablespoons of butter. So the ratio is going to be 1/4 because he only wants it for one person, and the recipe is for 4. Okay, so we're going to take each ingredient and modify it to make cinnamon toast for one person. So for first off the sugar, so we want the ratio of one person out of the 4 servings in the recipe. So the sugar is a 1/4 cup. And when we're multiplying fractions, we go from side to side. So 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 4 is 16. So you would need 1/16 of a cup of sugar. Okay. Next, we're going to modify the cinnamon. It is 1½ teaspoons, but instead of multiplying by 1½, you want to make that an improper fraction. So you'll do 1 times 2, which is 2, plus 1 is 3. So it's actually going to be 3/2. And that just makes it easier to work with. So we're going to multiply across. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. So you will need 3/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'll just abbreviate that. Next is the bread slices. And it needs 8 bread slices, but for one person, you are only going to need 1/4 of 8. So what you're going to be doing here actually is dividing. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So you only need 2 slices. And then last is the butter. So you need 2 tablespoons of butter. And again, with this one, you're actually dividing, but in this case, you have, I'll put the 1 under there. You know, you can put a 1 under a whole number to make it look like a fraction. 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 1 is 4, 2/4, which reduces down to 1/2. So you would only need 1/2 of a tablespoon of butter. Okay, you're going to be doing the recipe for the applesauce raisin muffins. So I'm going to do number 1 for you just to get you started. So the recipe, you'll see that it calls for 12 muffins. But for number 1, they want you to make 16 muffins. So how much cinnamon do you need to make 16 muffins? So here's our ratio. That's what the recipe calls for. That's what we want to make. So 16/12. The cinnamon is 2 teaspoons. So 2/1. That's how you make a whole number fraction, by putting 1 underneath. We multiply across again. 16 times 2 is 32. 12 times 1 is 12. That reduces down to 8/3. And then to put it in mixed fraction form, you just divide the denominator into the numerator. 3 goes into 8, 2 2/3 teaspoons. Okay, so be sure the number that you want to serve goes on top, and the number that the recipe calls for is on the bottom. Most of these you will be multiplying. Some of them, depending on how it goes, you might have to do a little bit of dividing like we had to do here. So do your best, take your time, and if you need any help, just contact me through Edmodo or send me a chat through Zoom.